developments in Ethekwini are concerning to all of us, to our citizens and our residents, which is why the leadership has come out to deal with that particular situation. And today, the Premier will reflect on a joint statement, a joint intervention by Ethekwini and the province, but also there will be a reflection of national as well there. To you, Honorable Premier, thank you very much. You may start. If you can just put your phones on silent so that we don't interfere with the recording. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwala. To the members of the media, it's already been said, we are here with the mayor and all other colleagues in the province. This is the work that we have now started to do jointly in support. Good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and also to the residents of the Ethekwini Municipality, and to those that are also following us virtually. Would like to start this briefing by reflecting on the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, which puts the Bill of Rights as a cornerstone of our democracy. One of the rights that is guaranteed there is the right to strike. Section 23 of the Constitution provides that everyone has a right to fair labor practices, and every worker has a right to form and join trade unions, to participate in activities and the programs of those trade unions, and also to strike. That is a constitutional provision which you would understand that when we also come to office, we swear to abide by the Constitution. The Constitution also is very clear on the limitations of those rights. Therefore, it must be stated that while the workers enjoy such rights, those rights have a limitation as well. It doesn't give the right to infringe on the rights of other citizens, nor the right to destruction of property, destruction of infrastructure, just because one is exercising their own right. Because government cannot accept nor allow anarchy to prevail, we will therefore be holding this media briefing against the very firm commitment by government that lawlessness will not be allowed to prevail. The joint media briefing then seeks to update the public, the members of illegal and unprotected industrial action by Ethekwini Municipality workers affiliated to the South African Municipal Workers Union, which started on the 27th of February. The violent nature of the strike has resulted in the essential municipal services being severely impacted, as some of the employees are fearing for their lives after seeing their colleagues being attacked and the infrastructure being vandalized. The strike action came at a time when the municipality was making progress in repairing the infrastructure that was damaged by the conservative severe disasters over the past 5 years, including the unrest and the floods. Since last week, the intimidation and the continued attack on the 9 striking employees has resulted in the city not being able to respond to faults and restore basic services such as water, refuse collection, and electricity in the entire city. The access to primary healthcare services has also been hampered by the intimidation of the health workers in various municipality-run health facilities, putting the lives of the ordinary people in danger. In the case where the public cannot access the city's health facilities, we have redirected them to the provincial clinics. We have also observed with great concern the attacks on the city employees at service delivery sites. Some have been shot while attending to service delivery complaints. A number of water and sanitation, electricity infrastructure, including vehicles, have also been damaged or completely destroyed. We strongly condemn the cruel action of this illegal strike and what it is inflicting on the patient and ordinary citizens of the city, as seen in the blockage of access roads, access to buildings, including potentially endangering the lives of the innocent people. From now henceforth, the government will no longer tolerate the atmosphere of fear that is prevailing to some of our workers, the trespassing on the premises, and the forceful removal of staff from their work post, denying of the patients the right to gain access to health care, including the vandalism to the critical infrastructure such as water and electricity. Communities who have been without water and electricity for several days are bearing the brunt of this unlawful strike, which is very unfortunate and is regrettable. Scenes witnessed over the past few days are purely criminality, economic sabotage, and tantamount to treason and attempted murders in certain instances. Government is extremely concerned and upset about the violence accompanied by intimidation and extensive damage to property caused in the name of striking workers. The municipality is currently conducting an assessment on the impact of financial implications of the strike. In this regard, we have been convening with the municipality since the start of the weekend. An agent special executive council meeting of the province, the cabinet, was also held to brief the executive council on the state of Ethekwini municipality as a result of the strike which has accompanied by this anarchy. The meeting was also appraised of the cabinet about the resolutions taken by the ministers of the Joint Crime Prevention and Security Cluster that was held with us yesterday afternoon, which was also taking stock of what was happening on the municipal strike. A short while ago this morning, the mayor and I also met with the business community, led by the chambers of industries and other individual business personnel, to brief them on the interventions and assure them that government is dealing with the situation accordingly. Earlier yesterday, the provincial government and the municipality also met to devise practical solution to protect the infrastructure and the citizens from this clear sabotage. Flowing from the actions taken by the municipality last week and the interventions by the provincial government and the JCPS cluster, we are pleased to report this progress and these interventions to confront the situation head-on. Some of the intervention include the technical team comprising of officials from all the spheres of government that has been established to implement coordinated interventions by the relevant departments. Other interventions are to address the challenges of intimidations and the attacks of non-striking workers, the Metro Police, the private security, the SAPS. We've also sourced to escort the staff to service delivery points, including the clearing of roads, the turnaround in the electricity faults, the water leaks, the burst pipes, the refuse removal. Both the municipal and the provincial law enforcement agencies are also on the high alert and will act without fear to the acts of impunity. We are confident that these interventions will allow staff to respond to the reservoirs that are overflowing or running empty at the moment. Some of the valves that have been closed or some of the burst pipes that have been demolished or vandalized are now being attended to. As part of the business continuity plan, the municipality has also made provision for some key employees to work remotely. Contractors have also been sourced, also engaged to do some work such as the refuse collection and attending to water and electricity faults. A team has also been set up to analyze all the video footage of the destruction of property, including the abuse of state vehicles that was seen, that were in the hands of the municipal officials who participated in the illegal strike. This process is well underway. and the culprits are being identified as we speak through internal processes, and they will be arrested soon. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has also provided a 4-person team that will work with the municipality to fast-track the disciplinaries of those that are now being charged for these illegal behaviors. This does not also rule out the criminal cases that are being opened as a result of some of these illegal things that those workers have done. The Ethekwini leadership will meet with the leadership of SAMU to explain to them that no amount of grievances should result in destruction of infrastructure, nor deny citizens their right to basic services. Importantly, those who are involved in anarchy will be liable for litigation for damages, and our legal team, our legal units already have been analyzing all these areas, and they are intervening. The municipality has also engaged the Department of Water and Sanitation, COCTA, as well as Umgeni Water, to provide technical assistance and additional water tankers and additional personnel, engineers to come and support. Through Operation Sukuma Sake, we have also activated all our field workers in the province to conduct cleanup operations throughout the city, and we are pleased to indicate that the business has also pledged their support to work with us in these operations. We want to assure the residents of Ethekwini that consequence management will be applied to all workers who participated in the illegal and unprotected industrial strike, and also that we will leave no stone unturned in terms of dealing with those that are responsible. Insofar as the strike is concerned, the negotiations at the national bargaining level, because that is where this matter lies. It lies at the National Bargaining Council of Local Governments. The municipality has obtained an agent interdict in the Labour Court under the case number D1119 of 24. The interdict against the striking employees, as well as those that are members of the SAMU, prohibits any unlawful conduct, any acts of violence or interference with the city's activities, services, and any of the operations. It further also constrains the striking employees from intimidating, harassing, assaulting, or threatening or perpetuating any acts of violence against employees, service providers, or those accessing offices or their workstations. The order also mandates employees to comply with their contracts of employment and comply with the acts of the labor relations, as committing unlawful conduct constitutes misconduct, and this could result in disciplinary actions. Employees have also been interdicted from taking part or inciting any unlawful disruptions or riotous behaviors that may result in the damage to municipal infrastructure, the infringements of the rights of others, the damage to any service delivery vehicles, or hindering and obstructing the blockage of municipal vehicles. It is of grave concern, ladies and gentlemen, that SAMU and striking employees are in breach of this court interdict and therefore are in contempt of the court order, and thereof any incidents of violence and intimidation directed to staff members and vandalism have continued unabated. But we now are confident that because they are now in violation or the breach of this court order, they will be subjected to arrest. The city manager has issued circulars advising all staff members that they should all come back to their work stations. They've also been advised that there will be consequence management that will be implemented, as the strike is not protected and it is an illegal strike, and that there will be no work, no pay, no benefits that will apply to those that will not be at their workplaces. The court order also mandates the employees to comply with their contracts of employment and comply with the various acts of the law, as committing unlawful conduct constitute misconduct. We've also employed the expertise of all the law enforcement agencies, including the community of all the intelligent communities of all the units of the states of government. In conclusion, we want to emphasize that all the spheres of government are working together to resolve this challenge, and we are discussing with the national government to support the city and the province through the provision of the intelligence services and the deployment of additional police officers in key hotspots to enhance the safety and the security capacity. As the ANC government, we remain resolute to maintain the rule of law, ensure safety and security of our law-abiding citizens, while we are trying to find amicable solutions to the issues that have been put on the table by the workers, because we do understand that we do need to engage with those that are honestly being affected while they are not on strike, while at the same time we want to maintain law and order, but we also want to ensure that the rights of all the citizens of the city are not being infringed upon. In our discussions with the business communities, they will also be supporting us with more resources in ensuring that our turnaround time of making sure that those areas that have been cut off from electricity or those that have been cut off from water are restored as soon as possible. That is what we wanted to brief the members of the media as well as the communities out there that are following us, that we are really taking very strong actions in making sure that we stop the rot from continuing in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Colleagues, the Mayor is also here to take your questions. The Premier will also reflect on some of the issues that have been raised there. Perhaps, Honorable Councillor Mayor, maybe let's just allow for the questions, or you want to reflect quickly to support?
Take questions.
No, the Speaker, the Premier has covered it. Yes.
Okay. Colleagues, let's take questions. We'll take 5 at a go. If there are any. If the statement was clear, we'll be very happy. So we'll take 5. I'll start there and come here. Please introduce yourself and the media house you come from. There are only 2 questions in this one, correct? There are 3. There are only 3 questions for now. Premier, we'll start there, come here and close there.
Okay, from the Witness newspaper. I would like to get maybe a follow-up or some clarity on Ushada Marine World. Can you give us a date of when can we expect to see the entity opening? And many people are worried about the losses. You know, with the place being shut down, we're worried about Ethekwini losing revenue. We're worried about Igole Zovala for the first time soon. People want to utilize the facility. What can you say touching on that, on revenue losses, and when can you see it open?
Thank you very much.
Also, just a point of clarity, since I'm Mabasom from Eyewitness News, I heard the Premier speaking about some culprits which are going to be identified. I just want clarity on this, whether the Brigadier could or the Premier. Has there been any arrests as it stands, if there was numbers and the charges that people are facing? But also, Mayor, I'm looking at to what extent is this denting the city's economy, because I do know that for a fact we thrive a lot as a city when it comes to tourism, but we all know no one would want to visit a town that has rubbish all over. To what extent has this dented the city's economy as things stand? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Great.
Thank you so much, Madam Premier. As Gregor there from Maverick. questions I'd like to ask, please, are what is the impact of the disconnections of electricity and water, if you know how many households are affected in respective islands? The second question is, do you have a rand value to the damage? And the third question is, why would you be meeting someone? Could that in any way be construed as condoning their activities? Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, if I can start, thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for presenting the statements on our behalf as government. The statement is clear on the interventions that we are making as a city and the province and national government to calm the situation down. At the moment, we are hopeful that they'll be reaching a resolution. We've engaged on a number of issues. They seem to be finding each other on the issues that and the offerings that Shaka Marine was also putting on the table. So we'll leave it with them to announce once they find a resolution in that regard. Yes, we are concerned about that entity, which is the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere, one of the biggest aquariums, and with all the species that are not found in some aquariums in Africa. So it's important that we preserve such an asset. It is a very important asset to the city, especially on tourism point of view, because it draws numbers of people and the schools, as you have said, who visits that facility. So we are looking forward for a very positive response when it comes to the negotiations in regard to Shaka Marine. Yes, of course, we are a major shareholder as a city in Shaka Marine, so we are concerned that they've been blocking the entrances to those who want to visit and to workers. We've been negotiating on those aspects to bring about solutions and end the strike. Then secondly, the economic impact in the city, our teams are still quantifying the damages per each unit and how it has impacted on the economy. As we all know, that is in the public discourse that they've closed many facilities of the city, including the fact that in the central district of the municipality, at least we are covered 100%. In the south, we are struggling with around an 80%, and the north 70%, which was affected. This came in the middle of the work that we were doing to restore water services, especially on the northern part of the city. And we committed to the members of the public that will be able to resolve that matter by end of February. So we are happy that our teams have completed all the valves that were being fixed, the air valves. But the challenge now is to ensure that there are teams who operates and filling our reservoirs so that we are able to supply what is expected, which have now been disrupted by this illegal industrial action by our employees. So we are happy with the intervention that the Premier, provincial government, and all national departments are making to support us, especially to restore services. We are concerned about areas. I'm happy to report that areas like your Mayville, Kwamaskha, which they've been experiencing a lot of problems with electricity. Yesterday at night, we restored services to those areas. Our teams are continuing to work flat out to ensure that we restore water and electricity services and also unblock the roads, which are the veins of economy in the municipality. I thank you.
We have Greg, we are taking stock right now because last night when we finished our meeting, we asked all the units of the municipality to do a morning roll call to check how many people are affected by the disconnections, if there are still any disconnections, if there are still services that have not been restored. So we are awaiting those figures. After the morning call, we're supposed to get the first reports by 11 o'clock. The rand value of the damages at the moment, we are still not having those numbers, as the city is still assessing the damage. The municipality has to meet with SAMU because the municipality received a letter from SAMU indicating that they have stopped the strike. Is that what the letter was actually saying? But the strike continues. So we have to, we've asked that the city must meet with the SAMU so that they can get clarity as to what does the letter say vis-a-vis what is happening on the ground, but also, as you would know that if it is SAMU, SAMU will be liable as well for damages. As you would know that the previous court have actually charged some unions for damages, should they be, but also there will be people that will be liable individually, but also criminally on those damages that have been caused. There has been arrest. Yes, there has been arrest. We are presently, there is a special team that has been constituted by the ministers that is presently looking at all the video footages, all pictures and everything, and identifying culprits. That is why we are very confident that some of them are being picked up, some of them are being followed as we talk. Since that work has already started on Friday and yesterday, we were able to get quite a lot of material that they have started to utilize to identify those culprits. And we will also call on the communities to help by identifying those culprits. If we've said, if you see a suspect in your area and you know that there is nothing that needs to be fixed, you must report those people, because there might be people who are interfering with the infrastructure in the community areas. So we have called on our communities to help also identify those culprits, but also in various departments, those culprits are being identified. I think the mayor has spoken about the fact that the situation is affecting the economy of Ethekwini, because you might have seen last week, that there was a lot of traffic, there was a lot of disturbance, and there was a lot of uncertainty from businesses in terms of the extent of the strike and the nature of the strike that was happening. As a result, some businesses were not sure whether they will close or they will not. But so far, there are no businesses that have closed as a result of that. We've also asked the municipality that no department should be closed. All departments will be working as normal. And that where there needs to be a security escorts, there is security escorts, but also the work that is driven by all family of intelligent community are working together, all of them. There's quite a number of them that have been placed by the national ministers that are working together in as a specialized a unit that are doing the work that they are supposed to be doing. Yesterday, as the mayor indicated, we had all the ministers of security, all of them, Home Affairs, SNDF, SAPS, Finance, Constitutional Development Minister, ministers in the presidency, all the deputy ministers, all of them were here in KZN Transport, all of them, they were here. We had a meeting the whole week the whole day, in the afternoon, from the afternoon, and we presented what we're doing. They also presented, and we are all working together to make sure that we restore law and order.
Okay, let's do another round. Take newsroom. So, in fact, let me start SABC newsroom itself, and yeah. So, come for. Is there any other question this side, colleagues? Okay, that's before.
Thank you, Mr. Kwala.
Comes.
My name is Simko Makanya from SABC TV News. Thank you so much. Mayor, have you been able to gather how many employees are actually on strike? And also, is it your perhaps view that this strike has been hijacked by some elements other than the issues that the workers are complaining about? Thank you.
Lisa from Newsroom Africa. Mayor, I just wanted to find out if you know of any healthcare facilities that have been affected by the water infrastructure being vandalized, as well as schools that have also suffered as a result of the ongoing strike.
Okay, thank you.
CN from IOL. I just wanted to know, in terms of the cleanup operations, I mean, if you drive through the city now, it's filthy, there's rubbish all over the place. So is there extra teams that are going to be called in to try and clean up the city while, SAMU gets their act together, or get a wait for the strike to be over before we start cleanup operations?
Thank you.
Mine was just clarity. The mayor mentioned a little bit that the interventions in the water crisis have been interrupted. So I just wanted to find, is there a new deadline that you have for us, since the end of March obviously was not able to be met due to the interruptions?
Thanks.
I think mine, just adding on Mark Klanya's question, I think I heard the Premier saying that till this date, the municipality has not received any memorandum with regards to the strike. So my question is, what are the chances that there are more of political interference with the strike than there are actual concerns about the wage increase and stuff?
Okay. You can close it there.
Oh, lastly, how safe are the residents of Ethekwini following that those sporadic protests? Because I think this morning there were a bit of fears, if you look on social platforms, that this could continue, to an extent that one of your departments in government cancelled a briefing, having no uncertainty as to how safe the city is. That's the thing.
Thank you, Pat. Premier, Councillor Mayor.
Thank you. Maybe let me start with the first one on how many employees are on strike. Definitely, you'll have fluctuation in terms of numbers. And the impact of the strike is citywide. So we can't say it's concentrating on water. It is now touching all departments in the city. Of course, the law enforcement agencies are now putting their plans, as the Premier alluded to the fact that we'll be using all kind of technology to identify the culprits. And we can't tolerate this behavior from our workers to continue in the city as it is happening. So therefore, we are targeting that by end of this week, we want the stability in every aspect of work that the city is expected to do. Then the issue whether the strike have been hijacked, I would like to leave that with the law enforcement agencies, because all of them are working in the city as we speak. The Minister of Intelligence was here, the Minister of Police, SANDF. They'll be combining their efforts, and they're the ones who are qualified to tell us exactly what are the sources that they're gathering at a local level. Then any schools, clinics affected, yes, in the main clinics, our own clinics have been affected because our workers have been blocked not to come at workplaces. But with the schools are continuing. There may be one or two that may be having the impact of this, but we haven't heard of any school that is shut down because of this. We know that in Westville area, when they interrupted our water services, we are thankful to the business community because they came into our rescue and also provided water tankers around the area, which service the crashes and the schools around and the community. So, which was very helpful in terms of restoration of services. But we also worked tirelessly to restore water in that area. After having completed the work and also opened the water, there were many allegations which we had that they will be going back again to interfere with our water infrastructure and electricity. But the police are working on that, and we are confident that the police will be able to arrest people, as the Premier responded on the question of arrest, that they are being put in motion. People are being arrested, and many will also be arrested. We are also trying to be more clinical as a city in terms of following each and every steps that Labor Relations Act guides us to deal with such issues of disputes, so that you don't experience what other municipalities have experienced. If you dismiss somebody, then you are told by the court that you must return that worker at place, because you need to be thorough. You don't need to be driven by emotions. You don't need to panic. You need to take your time and follow each and every step, so that whenever you act correctly and you are on the right side of the law instead of being ruled out of order. So the timeline for the water, as I've also responded, that we have dealt with the 6 valves which were remaining. Only what we were needed to do now is to operate and close water so that you fill all the reservoirs, then you also open. So we have developed a skeleton personnel complement that will be going out in all these areas to ascertain that we open the water and we close it when we're supposed to close it, so that we can allow our reservoirs to fill up. And we ascertain that at any given point, as the team will be doing that, will be able to open water. Some residents are already getting water, but we want to be certain that all places that were affected are really accessing water as expected. So the timelines, yes, we wanted to finish on the 28th and the strike started on the 27th, but fortunately our teams were escorted by the police. They were able to complete the valves that were still outstanding. So we are happy with that work. Safety of residents, we are still happy that public transport have not been interfered with. That is why you still see people going to workplaces, unless if there is a challenge at a particular plant or a company of water and electricity, maybe they'll decide to shut down. But we are still happy that public transport is still operational in the city and people are still going at work. And we want to keep it in that way so that we don't experience major damages on the economy of the city, because we solely rely on the workers to ensure that there are high levels of productivity wherever they work. So they need to be allowed to do that. Thank you very much.
We are bringing in extra personnel to come in and assist with the cleaning campaign, including the business that have also pledged this morning to bring in extra personnel, which we will then put all of them under supervision, so that they are now working on mapping the area, so that we know where the teams are going to be going, different teams. When we finished this morning, they were now going to do that. So we are hoping that with that extra, those extra hands, the cleaning will happen fairly quickly. I'm not sure, Nhlanhla, yes, it is true that the city had not received any memorandum except for what the people were saying. You remember that the strike happened, the workers had their meeting where they were briefing each other about their normal human resource issues. So instead of them going back to their workstations after that meeting, they then went AWOL. And that's why then there was nobody who then came with the memorandum to say, okay, this is what we marching. Or they just went, in all directions, and that is why we are saying they needed to be engaged as well to say what happened, but also to say, well, it's criminal to close the clinic. So that people are not able to access the clinic, that's tantamount to attempted murder, because somebody could die from not accessing that clinic. So the cases that we are looking at, we're looking at very serious cases that we want to see being prosecuted. And the good thing is that when we discussed with the JCPS yesterday, there was a clear direction that the judiciary will have to also come on board in terms of setting the tone that we are wanting to set. Obviously, they would say that they also need cases that they are able to prosecute. But we've also been saying there are also laws that guide certain types of cases. If it's an attempted murder case, that person, there's a law that say what type of person must be given bail and what type of person should be treated how. And we want to see the same being applied to those that are being arrested, for the damage to infrastructure. There is a law that say what kind of sanction and what kind of case is the person in breach in case you damage the infrastructure, particularly infrastructure of water, electricity, and other infrastructure, state infrastructure. So we are all in agreement as the ministers that those that are going to be responsible for prosecution, they need to know and understand that we would not allow, or we would not really be pleased should those matters not be handled with the seriousness that it deserves.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Colleagues, maybe we will ask the leadership to just give us the briefing in isiZulu, just to summarize some of the key points, particularly the interventions for our audiences. My Supreme Sebheka, we also want to say that on Wednesday there is Operation Sukumasaki Cabinet Brief.
Yeah, there's going to be Sukumasaki. We're all invited to Operation Sukumasaki of Ethekwini, where the whole of the cabinet, all MECs of cabinet, all HODs, DGs will be descending to Ethekwini for Operation Sukumasaki. Lo mbiko siunikeza lapha njengamanje umbiko wokuthi isimo kwenzakalana eThekwini emva kokuba abasebenzi baseThekwini bethathe isinqumo sokuthi baye esitelekeni esingekho emthethweni nesiteleka esingavikelekile ngokomthetho. Siyafisa ukusho ukuthi iConstitution yalapha eNingizimu Afrika inamalungelo abantu, okuchaza ukuthi bonke abantu banamalungelo. Abantu banelungelo lokuthi bajoyine izinyunyane, abantu futhi banelungelo lokuthi kuphathwe ngendlela okuyiyona yona emsebenzini. Kodwa lamalungelo futhi aphinde abe nendlela yokuthi uma ngabe u-exercise ilungelo lakho omunye umuntu kufanele naye kungabi khona ukuthi uzomnyathela awakhe amalungelo. Kanjalo ke sikhuluma nabasebenzi ukuthi noba ngabe kukhona ukungajabuli abanakho emsebenzini, kepha lokho akusho ukuthi sekufanele banyathele amalungelo abanye abantu emphakathini. Uhulumeni ke akazukuvumela nakancane ukuthi kube khona isimo esingawulawuleki emkhandlwini waseThekwini, kulandela nokuthi kube khona ubudlobongela esibonayo njengamanje. Kwi-briefing ke esinikezayo namhlanje siyakubalula ukuthi isiteleka lesi esisibonayo noma esisibonile siqala ngomhla ka-27 kuyisiteleka ngokwethu esingekho emthethweni, futhi isiteleka esingavikelekile ngokomthetho wamalungelo abasebenzi noba amalungelo wokuteleka. Okunye ukusikhathaza kakhulu ukuba nodlame kwalesi siteleka esisibonayo osekudale ukuthi kubonakale kucekelwa phansi impahla efana nezimoto zakamasipala, efana nengqalasizinda yamanzi kanye nogesi kanye nezinye izinto ezithe zaphazamiseka kulona lolu hlelo. Sibonile abanye abantu emsebenzini abebesebenza nabo bekhishwa emsebenzini akade besebenza kuyona ezindaweni lapha abasebenza khona. Abanye bathreatenishwa ukuthi abangayi emisebenzini ekufanele ukuthi baye kuyona. Ingqalasizinda efana nezibhedlela, amakliniki kanye namapool nezinye iy'nsebenza zakamasipala nazo zithe zaphazamiseka kulesi siteleka esisibonayo. Siyagxeka-ke kakhulu lokhu esikubonayo okuyisiteleka esinodlame futhi okuyisiteleka esingekho emthethweni, ngoba sichaza ukuthi abantu bakithi balapha eThekwini bancishwa amalungelo wabo ukuthi bathole izinsiza eziphuma kumasipala. Umphakathi ke uyacelwa ukuthi ubambisane nomkhandlu wethu waseThekwini, ngoba njengamanje sisebenza ngokubambisana nomkhandlu ukuthi sibuyisele isimo kwesejwayelekile. Sikhiphe amathimba aphuma kwisifundazwe saKwaZulu Natal ahlangana asebenzisana namathimba wakhona la kumasipala ukuthi babambisane ekulungiseni umonakalo osithe wenzakala kusukela ekuqaleni kwalesi siteleka esisibonile. Okunye esisikubekile ukuthi kube khona ithimba labo abazi kakhulu umthetho abazosebenza ekutheni kubhekwe labo abazobe bephule umthetho okuhambisana namalungelo okusebenza ukwenzelwe ukuthi bakwazi ukushushiswa. Amaphoyisa ke aseqalile ukubopha labo abathe bacekela phansi impahla. Sikhuluma njengamanje basey'nhlelweni zokuthi kube khona abaningi futhi abazoboshwa kulandela ukuthi sithole yonke imbiko kanye nama-pictures wezinye zezinto ezonakele nalabo abazonile kwenzele ukuthi kukwazi ukushushiswa labo ekufanele ukuthi bashushiswe bese kwazeke ukuthi labo futhi ekufanele bavulelwe amacala baphinde futhi nabo bavulelwe amacala. Ekseni ke namhlanje siye sahlangana nosomabhizinisi balapha eThekwini ngenhloso yokuthi sibazise ukuthi kuqhubakalani khona lapha emkhandlwini weTheku. Bayeke bazibophezela ukusebenzisana nokusizana neTheku ekutheni konke ekufanele kulungiswe kuyalungiswa ngokushesha, kakhulukazi ukubuyiselwa kwengqalasizinda efana namanzi kanye nogesi. Siyazi ukuthi kunabantu abaphazamisekile ukuhamba kukagesi kanye namanzi kusukela emasontweni adlulile, kodwa umkhandlu ubusey'nhlelweni zokuthi kubuyiselwe amanzi kulandela kulesa simo sokushintsha kwamapayipi lokho okube khona nokulungiswa kwama-valve lawa akade alungiswa ngumasipala. Ezinye ke inhlelo esizibekile ezisebenza njengamanje uphiko lamaphoyisa nazo zonke inhlaka zokuphepha ezisebenza njengamanje ukuthi kwakhiwe amathimba ayespecially aqhamuka kuhulumeni omkhulu kazwelonke, uhulumeni wesifundazwe kanye nohulumeni khona la komasipala. Lamathimba ke asebenza eminyangweni ehlukahlukene asiza umasipala neminyango ehlukahlukene kamasipala ukuthi lapho okonakele khona izinto zisheshe zilungiseke. Amanye alamathimba adila nezinto zabantu abahlukumezekalayo emsebenzini nalabo abazithola behlukunyezwa ilabo abanye abangafuni ukuthi basebenze eindaweni lapho kufanele basebenze khona. Okunye esesikwenzile ke ukuthi kube khona abanye abasebenzi abaqhamuka einkampanini ezizimele nabo abakhona njengamanje abasiza abasebenzi bakamasipala kakhulukazi labo othole ukuthi baye bavimbeleka ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi bayosebenza. Amaphoyisa ke nawo ayaqhubeka nokuthi abaphelezele abanye abasebenzi bakagesi namanzi labo kufanele bafinyelele eindaweni lezi kufanele bafinyelele kuzona ukuze babuyisele ugesi namanzi emphakathini. Amaphoyisa ke nophiko lawo lonke kanye nabezinhloli behlangene bonke njengamanje bahleli bacubungula zonke izithombe yonke imifanekiso ekhona ukubona ukuthi iziphi lezi gilamkhuba ekufanele zilale namhlanje zibaliwe. Umnyango wezokusebenza ngokubambisana kanye nobuholi bomdabu kanye neminyango kahulumeni wesifundazwe isibeke nawo amathimba azogxila ngqo ekutheni kushushiswe labo ekufanele bashushiswe noba labo ekufanele kuqalwe badisciplinwe ngokuthi benze lokhu okungekho emthethweni. Umkhandlu ke uthathe isinqumo sokuthi siqhubeke nokuxoxisana nama-unions ngenhloso yokuthi kutholakale isixazululo ngoba zona izinyunyana zibhalele umasipala zathi azikho esitelekeni kepha esikubonayo la ngaphandle khombisa ukuthi sikhona isiteleka esikhona. Yingakho bone ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi umkhandlu uhlale nobuholi bezinyunyana ukuthi kuxoxiswane kubonakale ukuthi ingqinamba noma inkinga kahle kahle zikuphi. Through operation Sukuma Sakhe sesiwabuyisile ke amathimba awesifundazwe aseqalile ukusebenza njengoba sazi ukuthi ngolesithathu kulona lesonto isifundazwe sonke sizobe silapha eThekwini sizoqhuba uhlelo lika Sukuma Sakhe. Uhlelo ke laka Sukuma Sakhe uhlelo lakahulumeni lapho aphuma khona uhulumeni aye kubantu nyanga zonke i-district ne-district sihambe sibheka sihlola ukuthi umsebenzi wenzeka ngendlela okuyiyona yona siphinde sibheke nomsebenzi owenziwa kuhulumeni ukuthi abantu bakithi bajabulile ngendlela okwenzeka ngayo noma kukhona lapho iminyango efanele ilungisele khona. Umasipala ke uye waya enkantolo ukuyovimba ukuthi abatelekile bangateleki ngenxa yokuthi isiteleka asikho emthethweni. Kuye kwavulwa ke icase under i-Labor Court icase number D1119 of 24 okuyiyona ke icase njengamanje evimbela ukuthi kube khona abasebenzi abazoqhubeka nokuhlukumeza abanye abasebenzi abasemsebenzini. Lenkantolo iphinde ivikele abasebenzi ukuthi kungabi khona abathreatenishwayo, kungabi khona abashawayo noma kungabi khona abazithola behlukumezwa ngenxa yokuthi benza umsebenzi abawuqashelwe. Abasebenzi ke futhi okubonakalayo ukuthi bayaqhubeka nokuthi benze lokhu okungekho emthethweni okuyisiteleka esingavikelekile nesiteleka esingekho emthethweni. Umthetho uyagunyaza ukuthi baboshwe ngoba lokhu kuchaza ukuthi basebenza benza okungekho emthethweni noma benza lokhu inkantolo ethe makungenziwa noma makungenzeki. Namhlanje ke kuzoqhubeka ukuthi kube nemhlangano nezinyunyana ukuze kutholakale isixazululo senkinga esibhekene nazo. Kodwa abasebenzi bazisiwe ukuthi ngenxa yokuthi isiteleka esingekho emthethweni futhi isiteleka lesi esingavikelekile ngokusemthethweni kusho ukuthi laba abatelekile ngeke bakhokhelwe imvuzo yabo yalezo nsuku, futhi ngeke bakhokhelwe ama-benefits wabo, futhi bazoshushiswa labo ekufanele bashushiswe ngokwenza lokhu okungekho emthethweni, ngokusho-ke kwesigaba semthetho. Siyathemba-ke ukuthi kusukela manje kuzoba khona ukusebenzisana, kuzoba khona futhi ukuthi sonke sizibophezele ekutheni zonke izinto ezenzakalayo zenzeke ngendlela esemthethweni, ngoba singuhulumeni asizukuvumela ukuthi abantu bakithi bahlale besengcupheni noma umphakathi uzizwe ungaphephile ngenxa yokuthi abakwazi ukuthola izinsiza ekufanele bazithole, nangenxa yokuthi izinto ezinjengamanzi namaklinikhi nezibhedlela abakwazi ukufinyelela kuzona ngenxa yokuvinjelwa ilabo abenza lokhu okungekho emthethweni. Siyafisa-ke ukucela nomphakathi ukuthi ubambisane nomkhandlu ekutheni mangabe bebona abantu benza okungekho emthethweni, kubikwe lokhu emaphoyiseni noma kushayelwe kulezi ingcingo ezikhona zamahala, kwenzele ukuthi kungaphazamiseki ukuhamba kwezidingo ekufanele zifinyelele emphakathini, kanye futhi ekufanele zifinyelele kubona bonke abantu balapha ngaphansi komkhandlu weTheku. Siyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu Ndunankulu, siyabonga kakhulu Mayor. Sesiyobona-ke kusasa Coastlands uPremier uzoqhubeka nesopha yakhe ekhuluma nosomabhizinisi, bese futhi siqala umcimbi omkhulu we-110th anniversary wenkosi uDinuzulu kaCetshwayo. Kubalulekile nawo ukuthi siwulandelele, sizomthunelela-ke uPremier uzobe eyobeka imbali, sizomnika ama-details alokho phambili kosuku, ukhumbula lolu suku olubalulekile ngoba we're building up to the 110th